Come along with me for day 2 of recreating Sabrina's Coachella look for the short and sweet tour. I started off day 2 strong by just continuing to rhinestone the boots. I actually finished the first boot and then I started on finishing up the second, just going section by section. And I know this looks super tedious, and it definitely is, but it is also oddly therapeutic with like a movie or some music on in the background. It was so calming. And at just about 9 hours, this was our progress. I just needed to finish up one side of the heel, so I just kept on bedazzling, and after about 9.5 hours, I finished up the rhinestoning on the boots, and this is how they are looking. They're so sparkly. I was so pleased with how they turned out. Next up was the dress. So after dyeing the base dress yesterday, I just wanted to go in and start to adhere some of the embellishments. And just as a reminder, this was the look that I was going for, and Sabrina has these adorable hearts all over her dress on the front, and then some embellishment around the collar and the hips that I wanted to add as well. I started with the collar and the waist trim portion, just using this thin rhinestone ribbon with some adhesive glue on the back that was heat activated. And in hindsight, I will say I definitely should have had this on some type of mannequin rather than just laying it flat, because this dress really had no seam allowance and it was a little bit difficult to get on. But anyway, I laid everything out, and then I just used a mini iron to adhere all the rhinestone yard strip to the dress, and then I left it on each spot for about 40 to 50 seconds at each different segment, and then I just made my way around the neckline. Once I had to connect from the front to the back, I just cut it with some scissors and then adhered on the seam, and then I did the same thing for the drop waist dress. I really struggled to find some high quality photos, but Sabrina also had a cutout on her lower back, which I was not about to try and do on myself. So to pay homage to that, I found a heart-shaped iron-on patch and I put it in a similar place, and then I just waited for it to transfer. And once it did, it peeled off pretty well all in all. The last step was to finish up the front with the rhinestone hearts. I'm just using some similar heart-shaped rhinestone patches, and I'm laying those out in a similar manner to Sabrina's pattern, so they're all lined up in a way that I like. I ensured each was sealed on with glue, adhering them one by one, and a bit over 13 hours in, here she is. I thought about using the lace skirt, but to be honest, I really did not like the result, and I preferred how everything looked without it. The skirt took on way too much dye, it was splotchy, and the lace was way too condensed compared to Sabrina's, which I also was not a fan of. I also did not like that it had a lining, which I could have removed, but it still wouldn't have matched, so I just scrapped it for this project. However, I am in love with the result, and I'm glad that you all have loved it too. So if you have any questions, please feel free to comment. I'm happy to help.